Hi there. In this lecture we see Wolfgang Unzicker against Mikhail Tal in 1960. Let's have a look at this game. E4, E5 for Mikhail Tal, knight F3, knight C6. We go into a Royal pairs. So Mikhail Tal playing A6 here, the Morphy defense. Bishop A4, knight F6. White castles, bishop E7, rook E1, B5, bishop B3. Black castles, C3, D6, H3, and now knight B8. This is the Breyer variation, and it is actually a favourite variation of the current world chess champion, Magnus Carlsen. We see D4, knight BD7. So the knight is rerouting in the centre and has the flexibility now of playing with the C-pawn if needed. Knight BD2, bishop B7. But quite often, a strategy of fianchettoing both bishops and trying to play for D5 is used by the likes of Magnus Carlsen nowadays. Bishop C2, rook E8. We see a similar strategy here, in fact. So this bishop aiming to fianchetto. Knight G3, G6, B3, bishop G7. Now, white closes the centre voluntarily here with D5. We see knight B6, queen E2, and black chips away at white's centre with C6. Now here is a controversial move. Already white's play hasn't been entirely optimal, but this makes it kind of a very bad position for white after C4. There's an X-ray going on here which is not to be underestimated when you're playing Mikhail Tal. Instead of this move C4, D takes C6, bishop takes C6, white could set up a kind of Maroczy bind against the D5 square. And for example, B takes, queen C7, knight D2, knight BD7. Black does have this small edge here. That C5 square is very nice. There's going to be pressure on E4. But okay, white played C4. This is a lot worse because C takes is played. C takes. And guess what Tal plays here in this position for 100 points. So black to play, what would you play here? Yeah, black destroys white's centre and tries to expose the rook on A1 with knight F takes D5. So this is taken, but now E4. So hitting that rook, white actually offers the exchange, offers that rook on A1. If rook B1, this is not very good after E takes F3. This D5 pawn is very weak, and this situation, for example, is leaving white in a shattered position after bishop takes D5. Black's pieces are absolutely fantastic here as well. If we look at this again and consider queen F1 as an example, rook takes E1, queen takes, again, knight takes D5, and black's got a big advantage. Or queen D1, the same thing, just taking and then taking on D5 leaves black considerably better. For example, this continuation is very pleasant indeed for black. So okay, knight takes E4 was played, offering the exchange. Bishop G5, and now F6, so keeping an attack against black, otherwise that bishop will be lost without and white will be material up. So yes, F6 is absolutely necessary. We see bishop E3. Here, if, for example, queen D1, F takes, queen takes, this situation is still in black's favour after bishop takes D5. So okay, it's interesting to try and get the queen there. But okay, bishop E3. We see knight takes D5, which is another fantastic conception, in fact. Why has the bishop been left on A1? Why didn't it move? So another brilliant tactic. So after rook takes A1, can you see what black's point is? What is Tal's point here for 100 points? Okay, it's knight takes E3, exposing a double attack, rather two pieces attacking E4. So white has to go into a horrendous self-pin. And now what's the key idea for exploiting this in this position? Okay, simple and strong, without any hassle. Bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, and now for 50 points, and minus 50 if you get this wrong, with a disaster move, it will be d5, not f5, because that asks for bishop d5 check, getting out of the pin. So d5 is getting this bishop, and black will be the exchange up. After rook d1, just rook takes e4. So black's the exchange up. King g7. And that, that's absolutely crushing. In fact, though, after bishop takes e4, d5, white actually resigned in this position without further ado. I just actually extended that with a little bit of analysis. So d5 is definitely winning this piece back. White resigned here, was pretty convinced. If rook d1, we just take with the rook. This rook is holding the queen. It's all working very, very well. So we see really, really great tactics from an absolutely lovely first-class opening used today by our current world champion. The Breyer variation is a very, very respectable variation, popularized by Magnus Carlsen. So this knight retreat, nifty knight retreat, is very, very cool in a way. And also, I would say the double fianchetto is a kind of aesthetically pleasing plan to get this crisscross of power across these diagonals. We see this very aesthetically pleasing plan. It's very smooth and suave, this particular variation, in my view. But white fell victim, to one or two inaccurate moves here. One or two inaccurate moves exposing this rook. White had to actually play an unpleasant looking move, d takes. Already, things have gone wrong slightly. So this is a kind of symptom of some inaccuracies earlier, theoretically. So this tactic now, that c4 though was very, very bad news for the rook on a1. But it's interesting how the tactics all work out after as well, with f6 here. So a very, very tactical game, and offering white very little compensation. If the bishop moved back, then there might be some other stuff for white to play for. But the way black played it, with knight takes d5, wipes out that important centre pawn, and it's a further big simplification of the position, taking out these minor pieces. So wonderfully getting to a position, clear cut, the exchange up, and also a pawn up here right now. 6 pawns, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 5. So the exchange and a pawn up, fantastic stuff. But d5 was the end of the game. So very, very instructive Breyer variation, exploiting an unprotected rook on a1 in this game. Okay, thanks so much. Hi there. Thanks for getting to the end of the YouTube video. If you would like to see other Mikhail Tal games, I actually have an amazing course for Mikhail Tal, which is currently at 4.9 with over 400 students. You can check this out from the Kingscrusher TV page. So Chess Strategy and Tactics, Mikhail Tal's amazing games. You can check out some free preview videos as well here. If you do expand all sections, you can see the preview links to get some free previews. So I hope you do check out this course index and the free previews. So I really had a thrilling time actually checking out Mikhail Tal's games. So the YouTube video here you saw was just a sample from this course. I hope you check it out. Okay, thanks so much. Oh, by the way, comments, questions, likes, shares, all appreciated. And if you did get to this part of the video, please do leave some sort of comment like Tal fan. Okay, thanks again.